Blue Kool-Aid drinkers, we are back, and we are recording this after the Lions' huge home victory over the Chicago Bears, the lowly Chicago Bears, a 41-10 absolute ass-kicking for the last home game on New Year's Day. What a way to ring in the new year. We will be talking about that. We'll be talking about the upcoming Week 18 game a little bit. We'll be previewing it. There's a lot to talk about, but before we get into that, let's introduce the Blue Kool-Aid crew. So I'm Big Z. Let's get to the rest. We got UJ.
Hey, Happy New Year, everybody.
Bob.
Hello, Happy New Year.
And Connor.
Yo.
And as you can tell, we had a heck of a New Year's. My voice is a little raspier than usual. So
Singing the Lions fight song a lot, see?
Oh, yeah. A lot of fight songs. A wild college football semifinal, both from Michigan and Ohio. I mean, just both semifinal games were crazy. Sorry, Michigan fans. Brutal beat. Brutal beat.
At least Ohio State lost in heartbreaking fashion.
They were exciting games, though. But
Yeah, because usually like they're blowouts in both games. So it was good to see an exciting game for a change. But hopefully the Lions can make up for that and somehow get into the playoffs. The Lions win 41-10, which means that next week they play the Packers. It's not winning in, unfortunately. The Lions need some help with the Seahawks. And ironically, we've been rooting for the Rams to lose all year, and now we're rooting for them to win in the last game of the season. As the Rams are going to Seattle, the Rams are 6.5-point underdogs, which that's not undoable. And if the Rams win, then it becomes a win and you're in situation for the Lions, which got flexed to Sunday night. So even if the Seahawks win, the Lions are still playing under the lights. It's a great experience for the team. Would you guys agree? Like, this is still a big game. They're going to go all out no matter what, right?
It's a playoff game no matter what, because from the Packers' perspective it is, and it's on the road. It's only going to be good for them. Although I want to make the playoffs, so.
Yeah,
absolutely.
and
I think no matter what happens, the Lions are going to want to beat the Pack and have a winning record, to close the season.
Yeah, I agree. It sucks, though, if Seattle wins and then we're watching the game kind of melancholy a little bit, but I don't know. I want them to win it either way, so.
Yeah, it'll still be fun to knock the Packers out of the playoffs. That would be fantastic.
Hell yeah.
I bet Rams money line, though, so it's already a lock. Yeah. Rams are going to win.
Yeah.
Earlier in the season, I would have said I wouldn't care if they're in the playoffs if they finished out the season well. Now that we're here, they're finishing out the season well. God damn, I want to get in the playoffs.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Isn't it crazy with the last game of the season and we're still in the hunt or whatever, It's pretty awesome.
Can't remember the last time.
Yeah.
Before Patricia. I can't remember.
Right.
Yeah.
2016, right?
This is right. Yep, 16.
When we lost the wild card game to Seattle, right? That's the last time.
Yes.
We were even in contention the last week of the season.
Correct. And we kind of limped into the playoffs there. It wasn't an exciting game for the most part.
No one thought we were winning that.
There was that face mask pass interference that didn't get called. But anyways.
Hey, and Z, you've been calling the Vikings frauds all year, and now they're showing that they're frauds when we need them to actually play.
I know.
The Packers game, they were horrible.
They look so
horrible.
bad.
Horrible.
They look sad in that game.
Yeah, anytime they play a decent team. So bet against them in the playoffs. But let's talk about this game, huh? Because everything was working for the Lions. I mean, this is a lowly Bears team. The Lions had 6 sacks, 2 from Josh Pascal, 2 from James Houston, 1 from Kaminsky. It's 5 sacks. Sorry, 5 sacks. But nonetheless, what an outing from the defensive line. Justin Fields had 32 pressures in this game.
Wait, there was a half sack for Hutch, so there must have been another sack in there somewhere.
I think.
Sorry.
Iffy
and Hutch split a sack. Iffy and Hutch split a sack. Apologies. 7 sacks. Sorry, I was reading the wrong category. Houston had 3 sacks. My mistake. I was reading the wrong category.
Isn't that amazing? Houston.
He's so good. He's getting you
fine that
flustered.
guy is.
Yeah. We drafted Hutch, then we got to draft him again in the 6th round. It was really cool.
Yeah.
What a find. What an absolute find. Most sacks by a trio of rookies since 2001 from the Buffalo Bills.
It's crazy. They're only going to get better, too. All these guys are rookies. It's crazy.
And Houston forced a fumble, and Hutch got the fumble recovery and an interception. So it was
Yeah.
pretty nice.
What
Pretty nice.
a year for Hutch. What a year. And he's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year by the odds, at least. But
No.
don't knock him out yet. Maybe he has a big game in Week 18.
If
but
Houston
man,
gets like 4 sacks, do you think they have to consider him for Rookie of the Year?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Playing
What?
half the season, too. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
I don't expect that, but that'd be crazy.
But man, I mean, just all around fantastic. I mean, Justin Fields went a little, or he had a lot of rushing yards initially, but only 75 yards total passing in this game. Just a complete annihilation after that first quarter, where we were down 10-7 after the first quarter and ended up winning 41-10.
Man, from the Bears standpoint, why the hell were they playing Justin Fields? Just pull the guy. Man.
I know.
Jesus,
He got some
he's
bad
getting
stuff.
killed out there. That was ridiculous.
They're
Just
going to
running
ruin his
for his
development. I mean, you can argue Mitch was never good, but the Bears never helped him out. And I don't think they're helping Fields out either, personally. That O-line is a
No.
disaster. And he has no
Yeah.
receivers. I don't know.
And Fields, obviously, he could run the ball, but I don't know. He's going to get killed if that's all they're doing with him.
His passing
Right.
game was bad this game.
It seems most likely they're going to bench him.
Man,
though,
were you guys
last week.
worried at all when the game started out with a quick touchdown by the Bears? Did that shock anybody or
Nah.
make
Not
you wonder
really.
if this is going to
Yeah.
be a game?
I figured we'd win the game, but I didn't know if it would be a little closer.
The idea of a shootout entered my mind because we've had a bad time with running quarterbacks, but I just had to remember how bad the Bears are. So it's funny seeing all these Bears fans thinking like we used to think with Patricia. They're like, oh man, this season's so bad. Like, I don't know if this is worth it, man. Like, there better be light at the end of the tunnel. That's like we were like a few seasons ago. So it's nice to see us on a different side of that coin.
Yeah, this was always supposed to be a pretty bad Bears team. Like they traded away people, didn't address any of their issues from the year before. But they have a huge, they have the most cap space in the league going into next year. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. It's not as strong a free agent class as years past, so it's not hitting at the right time for them, I think. But let's get back to the Lions for a second. Let's go to the offensive side of the ball. Jared Goff, extremely efficient. No picks. 3 touchdowns, 21-29, 255. Spread the ball around again.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra, DJ Shark, Khalif Layman. Just great to see. Two more touchdowns from the tight ends.
Yeah.
This time
Yeah.
it was Brock Wright's turn.
Since Hawk left, we've been getting a ton of tight end touchdowns. It's really
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Franchise record for tight end touchdowns in a season.
It's crazy.
And
I'm a little disappointed
Yeah.
the JMO connection hasn't quite warmed up, but they did use him in an interesting way.
tried a couple
Yeah.
screens to him, one over the middle. That he was open. It was a bad pass.
That's the one thing. The timing with Goff and J-Mo for some reason hasn't clicked
Yeah.
yet, but when it does, it's going to be dangerous.
The toss was awesome, though. That was a good confidence builder for him. He's
Yeah.
so fast.
So fast. 40 yards.
We were talking about that
burst.
before the second half. Why don't they just give him a toss or an end around or something? At least get him activated in this game here, and they did it.
Mhm.
I was so happy to see that. And man, when he's running down that field, he just looks like he's gliding, man. He's running so fast.
Yeah, it's a
Doesn't
lot.
even look like he's trying hard.
It's so
Yeah.
much fun.
He's
to
going to
watch.
be a great weapon, man. I can't wait to see him use him more.
What is Goff said? He moves like a snake. He's got like a slippery speed, like a weird kind of speed that he hadn't seen before.
Snakes aren't that fast, really. They look like, but they're really pretty slow. You get around one, trust me.
Well, if there's one coming after you, you might feel differently. But
The run game came back to life in this one as well. The Bears' rush defense has been horrible this season. And the Lions exposed it. It was great to see. 22 carries for Williams, 144 yards and a touchdown. Swift, 11 for 78. So they combined for 255, if you include the J-Mo run, and a pair of touchdowns, one from Jamal, one from Swift. Jamal, 1 touchdown shy of Barry Sanders' single-season record. Now, Barry Sanders did it in 16 games. Jamal will get a 17th game to try to tie that record. But nonetheless, still
pretty
a
awesome.
fantastic season for Jamal Williams. To even come close to that record is incredible.
Yeah.
Considering he was the
league,
backup
right?
running back of the season.
yeah,
I mean, but the offensive line was extremely solid in this game. Just the way they dominated. The Lions dominated every aspect of this game. It was great to see that again at home. The Lions offense at home, remarkable this year. If they can carry that into next year, watch out. Now, Ben Johnson, it looks like he's already going to get an interview with the Panthers for the head coaching job, it sounds like. And I bet that won't be the last that he gets. But can we keep him for just one more year? One more year?
I know.
Let's win our Super Bowl.
Pay him
and
whatever
then
he
you
wants.
move on
Keep
to
him.
wherever.
This could be the year to splash in free agency and go for it. I mean, if we draft another great rookie class, I don't know. I know they're not going to detract from the long-term plan, but if there's a guy there and he's going to help him, I don't see why they wouldn't go for it next year.
Yeah, and the Lions, they've moved 2 spots up in the draft actually this week. The Rams pick is now the 6th overall pick in this draft. So if the Rams do end up losing this week, maybe there's a chance they move up to the top 5. But
do you know if they tie?
The Lions are guaranteed to have a top 9 draft pick.
That's good.
Going into 2023, which is fantastic.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's great.
If the Seahawks tie, do we still go through if we win? I don't know how that works.
Yes, we'd have more wins.
Okay.
Than them.
Oh, that's
yes. A Seahawks loss or
tie would be really funny.
Lions
really
victory. But yeah, I mean, this is just all around fantastic. It makes you really, when you look back in the season, like, what if the Lions pulled it? I mean, we score 42 points against the Seahawks and lose. What if they didn't blow the lead against the Vikings, the Dolphins? I mean, there's so many what ifs, and it's so frustrating. The Panthers game, okay, like, you got your ass beat. It happens, but some of those close ones where you just couldn't eke it out, or if Jamal doesn't fumble on the goal line against the Cowboys, all these things, and the Lions.
Yeah, that's all true, but I don't think the players are looking at it that way. I mean, you kind of look at like they're just getting better and better every week, and they believe in themselves more and more. I know we've said before whether wins carry over to the next season or don't. I think this team is definitely going to be. This is carrying over to next year. This team believes in itself.
Oh yeah,
got a solid core.
Yeah, it's all part of the process. This Bears game too. This is a game, the kind of game that good teams just go and take care of business. It's a team they should beat after a tough letdown loss. Still in the playoff hunt, and they just went out and just took care of business. I mean, it was a dismantling, business-like destruction of a lesser team, and that's what good teams do. And that's another sign that this is turning into a really good team. So. They didn't let the letdown linger. They came back from it strong. And, it was just a blip on the radar. So, yeah, they're still showing more signs of being a good team. And that's what I like to see, too. Whether they make the playoffs or not, this will carry over.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And, again, it was about establishing a culture change from the previous regime. I think that's been more than established. Even Aaron Rodgers said in his press conference today, it's not the same old Lions. And Aaron Rodgers has seen the Lions for many years in his career to this point.
Yeah. He's faced a couple good Lions teams, but not many, unfortunately.
Yeah, but he's like, I think the last time they played like a relevant game against the Lions was like 2016 or something. Like, that's what he said in his press conference as well.
Wow.
But yeah, the Lions are getting a ton of respect. I think it's going to matter in free agency too. Clog up some holes, especially on the defensive side, or at least build some depth. And maybe bring in another key receiver or something along those lines for next year. But this is a huge game. I mean, just to get this team in this type of game that they haven't had it so long in Detroit this late in the season is a huge building block, even if we end up not making the playoffs, to get in that key moment under the lights. Like, the players are getting excited on Twitter. We're playing under the lights. Let's go. Like, this should be if it's the Packers,
great.
you don't see the Packers, like Aaron Rodgers or anybody tweeting like, we're playing under the lights. Like, they sound like high school football players, like, getting excited for like Friday night or something like that.
It seems like they have that mentality sometimes against the world. So
yeah.
It's cool to see.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's nice to see the Lions getting the national recognition, though, the last week of the season here, regardless. But they've gotten a lot of
For
love
sure.
this last part of the season with the turnaround.
Yeah.
I know Decker, he's excited. He wanted that game flexed, and it is flexed to Sunday night because he's our last remnant of the old playoff team. I think he's the only one left.
Right.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
We'll get into that game later this week, previewing it. But man, this is really exciting. And it was nice. It was this is like the Jaguars game where it's just so easy to watch. Like, pass completion, like this is so easy. I don't expect anything less. I'm out of this team. The way Ben Johnson has schemed this offense is just so good. It's so refreshing. Like for years we've just had like Stafford making unbelievable throws and tight windows. But the constant ability for these guys to be wide open speaks to the play designs, and I'm sure Jared Goff as well with his ability to audible too.
Hey, how about that stat for Goff though? That was he 299 passes without an interception now, something like that, leading the league.
Yeah,
that used to be the one you always saw with Aaron Rodgers all the time. He always had that. It seemed like he had that stat, the longest stretch without an interception.
Yeah,
Jared Goff, baby.
Yeah, we got to give some credit to Goff. It's not all just Ben Johnson. Like he's improved his play tremendously from last season.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
His pocket presence is so much better. His footwork, everything.
Even throughout this season, when they started at that 1-6, I thought Goff was playing a little tentatively. You know, he wasn't pushing the ball like he could, and now he looks totally confident out there. It's nice to see.
Yes, absolutely. The last pick he threw was against Green Bay. But since then, and that was November 6th.
Why do you have to remind us of that?
I'm just saying, you know. And it's the Green Bay defense that's
big stats
improved, since then. But don't forget the Lions also picked off Rodgers 3 times in that game. So.
That's true.
Yeah. There you go. Now that kind of stat.
But man, what a streak for Goff. And I the strength. Well, again, we don't need to preview the Sunday game, but we'll get into that.
I know
later
it's just so
week.
exciting.
It is exciting. It's really exciting.
We're all excited about it,
especially like, yeah. I mean, we'll get into our grades for the year. Well, not until the season's over. We won't get into our grades for the year. So just be on the lookout for that. Hopefully, it's not next week.
Part of the problem of breaking down this last game is it was so one-sided. It wasn't like, breaking down individual plays and stuff.
Yeah.
There's just so many great plays for us.
Yeah, we were
punched him in the mouth.
Bob and I were on a plane for this game, so I watched the condensed game today, and man, it was a joy. Like everything was like totally Lions except for the first like 5 plays. It was just...
I thought one thing of note was the use of the linebackers in this game. Anzalone sat out a few more plays than he usually does. Barnes played 55% of the plays, I believe, a little more than Malcolm Rodriguez did. It's just interesting use of the linebackers. I guess it's a matchup thing, but it seemed to work pretty good. So I just thought that was interesting.
Well, I heard I missed that beginning of the game. Wasn't there some kind of confusion between Will Harris and Malcolm Rodriguez on the big run? Like that's how that got broken. I just read a tweet about it. I didn't see the play. But I don't know if you guys remember.
I don't remember that specifically between them, but
anyway, that's not
that
really important.
That would explain why a quarterback runs for 60 yards, but
yeah.
Well, it was nice that they adjusted.
They did.
They were sound in their concepts. After that, they stuck to what they were doing, and they limited them.
You know what else too? With Justin Fields, they kind of beat the shit out of him. And by later in the game, by the third quarter, his desire was significantly lessened. If you know what I mean, like he didn't look as willing to run and do things he was doing earlier. It was a beatdown for him, man. He was going on the sidelines and they're giving him massages and stuff, trying to loosen him up and everything. And yeah. I don't know why the hell they left him in the game. It was so stupid, but he was definitely lost his mojo and just wasn't putting out like he normally would.
His willingness was completely gone in the second half to do it.
To
make any sort of play. It's
tough when you're the only part of their offense that's working. You're relying on just you, and then you're losing by like 30 points or whatever. It's a little.
I'm sure the coaches are like telling him to risk it a little less too. I mean,
my favorite part is in the middle of the season they traded their own second-round draft pick for Chase Claypool, which I think is one of the dumbest trades you'll see all year. Because they made
he was getting frustrated. Claypool's throwing his helmet on the sideline. He was frustrated out there.
Yeah, but they have the cap space. I just don't know about their rebuild. It doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, that was a bizarre one. And I said, the free agency class isn't like remarkable next year, and they're not going for a quarterback. So,
Will Harris might be available because he might be done with the Lions.
I bet. Oh,
you know what? Yeah. I did want to bring up this too. Jeff Okudah only played 17 snaps in this game. He's been pretty much benched from the starting cornerback.
Yeah, I don't get that. Is that like a hurt thing, or is that like they're not happy with him?
I think it's a performance thing, right? Yeah,
definitely.
So interesting wrinkle this late in the season, because we've kind of been singing his praises throughout the middle of the season, but something is going on here later in the season where his performance is falling off, especially against the Panthers.
Yeah, he's good. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he's going to pan out as that elite cornerback we drafted at 3, but I still have hope for him.
I'd settle for good right now. He's just not playing good.
Yeah.
And the Lions have a decision on his extension or his 5th-year option, which I think at this point is guaranteed not to be picked up.
Yeah, that's too bad because he was playing really well. He was like one of our best defenders for a couple weeks there.
Yeah,
definitely one of our best tacklers.
Off the cliff. Yeah, he's got that football thing that Dan Campbell likes, where he loves the game and he's going through the guys, tackling through them, through the end of the whistle, the echo of the whistle or whatever.
Yeah.
But something's not happening with them right now.
Yeah, we've got a lot of big decisions, I think, in this offseason, but I don't know. Running back's another question people are asking on Twitter. Swift had a really good game, but overall this year and other years, he's been hurt a lot, So people are like, should we draft a running back? I don't know.
I mean, Bijan Robinson at number 9.
He's good.
There's a lot of hype around him. But that's really high to take a running back.
Not at 9. No, that would be crazy.
I hope we keep Jamal, too. He's awesome.
I like him on the team, but that'd be kind of silly.
We have defensive needs that are bigger.
Iffy Melifonwu played his best game of the season, or of his career, I should say, by far in this one. Yeah. Also, it also really helps when the defensive line is pressuring the quarterback every single snap. That always makes the defensive back's job much, much easier. I do want to note that. Because the defensive back's best friend is a good defensive line. Even the same for the linebackers too. But Bugs has been a revelation this year. It's fun to see him continue. He had 4 pressures in this game as well.
Yeah.
Really fun. I was asking you offline about that Pascal, because you're a little not down on that pick. What do you think? He had a good game this game.
I haven't been down on the pick. I mean, I'm just like he didn't play for a large portion. Like we knew he was injured. And I'm glad to see him work on a pass rush, that's for sure, because we haven't seen much of him out of the pass game. Now I want to see him do it against a much, much better team because the Bears' offensive line is horrendous. But a good step in the right direction.
He's still your guy, though. He's still the guy you love to hate.
I love him. I love him.
We got to do a segment, the guy Z hates this week, or something,
No, the second one would be called "You Taking My Words and Exaggerating Them into
your concerns about Hutch. We're going for weeks there.
Yeah.
You said I'm just concerned about everybody.
Of course, I'm concerned. I'm always concerned. Oh man, but so. We just want to react to this game, but it really comes down to next week. If the Lions lose, does that change your outlook on this season, or do you still see it as a positive if we somehow lose this next game?
I think it's a positive.
Positive.
I mean, if they get blown out, I'll be a little sad, but
because a lot of the pundits out there were saying if the Lions even managed to win 6 games this year, that would be considered a success. And here we are trying to get into the playoffs after starting 1-6.
Especially after the 1-6 hole that they dug themselves into just this whole the rest of the season's been amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're 8-8. If they finish 9-8, you can't ask for much better.
Yeah.
And the
I don't know.
places are in peace. Like a lot of these pieces are coming back, and that's really exciting.
The places are in peace.
Yeah. I thought he said that too. The places are in peace.
Yes.
What? The pieces are in place.
peace.
The places.
That was your yogiism or whatever.
We're putting that on a
places
T-shirt with grit on the back.
I like it.
The
I like
places are in peace. Great.
Is
I
that what
still want to
said?
make the T-shirt that says "On that note, ... drinking the blue Kool-Aid" on the back. One day. I'm gonna
We
make
can
that
wrap
shirt.
up the pod here. We don't have to make this a long one. I know everybody's.
It's turning against Z here.
Wait. I'll do my clown of the week real quick.
Okay. Oh yes. Wait. So this is
I-
Connor's clown of the week.
We'll have to get a good sound effect for that.
Little-
Apologies, I've been out of the country, so I've missed a couple clowns. But my clown of the week this week is a couple specific Bears fans in my life who told me that the Bears are in a much better place with their rebuild because they have the quarterback and we don't. And they said that with a
No.
straight face, as we're about to
Wow.
maybe make the playoffs and they have the number 2 pick in the draft.
You want to name them in person? On the
No.
spot?
I don't want to go that far, but just a few delusional Bears fans are my clown of the week. So shout out
man.
them.
Who would say that? That's ridiculous. That's
and we have
ridiculous.
Jared Goff, who's only like one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL this year.
By the way, did you see the video of on Jameson Williams' run? Jared Goff running with Jameson Williams. People questioning like, "Where's this Jared Goff speed when he's running out of the pocket?" Because he was flying. He wasn't keeping step with Jameson Williams necessarily, but he looked pretty fast. I'll have to
That would be awesome
find
if
that
he
on our
unlocked a big
Twitter at
run
Drinking
game.
Lions and retweet that
That's
for people to see.
pretty funny. Oh, and one little sub note about X Lions.
I love sub notes.
You see David Blau. David Blau is playing for the Cardinals this week.
Yeah.
As a starter. But,
Yeah.
Third
Yeah,
team
he
of the
lost,
year. He actually looked pretty good out
Interesting.
there too for them. Like,
yeah.
it looks like he belongs as at least a backup somewhere.
I hope
We've
it works
seen
for him.
There's some pretty bad backups out there in the league. And he
Yeah,
looks more than
for
competent.
sure.
Yeah, we got to see Suds out there for a bit.
Yeah, he does
I mean-
exist on the roster.
Nothing of particular note. They got a field goal on his drive, I think, but it's hard to
Yeah, he didn't throw a pass, so we couldn't see the rocket arm.
Yeah. hard to gauge when everyone's kind of checked out of the game already.
Yeah. So next week, at 3:25 or 4:25 Eastern, 3:25 Central, the Rams are traveling to Seattle. The Rams are 6.5-point underdogs. We're going to be Detroit Lions or
Detroit Rams.
Detroit Rams 2.0,
Yeah.
basically, because that was the thing during Matt Stafford's Super Bowl run. Like Lions are for the Rams because of Stafford, but now we've been rooting for the Rams to lose all season for that draft pick, but now we need them to win
I know.
to get into the playoffs, which is just
Kelly Stafford
hilariously
like,
ironic.
reposted that on Instagram, the Detroit Rams. I wish Stafford were playing. That would be such a cool thing. But
That would be so poetic if he came in and won this
Wouldn't it?
game to
That
get
would
the
be
Lions
amazing.
into the playoffs. That would be amazing.
I'm pretty sure he's out for the year.
yeah, he
Yeah,
is.
no, I know.
Could you imagine
But,
just right before the start, he's like comes out there in crutches and just
I can play. I can play.
I will
I can
say
play, man.
7 touchdown passes.
Cam Akers
I
has
can
been
throw it.
running
I can throw it.
all over.
And then he hobbles off the field at the end.
Seattle is one of the worst rush defenses in the league, and Cam Akers has been running really well, so I think that gives us an outside chance. Also, the Rams lost in a very close game to Seattle that they probably should have won a few weeks ago. So these division games are always tight. It's tough to beat a team in your division twice in a season as well. So there's some positive spins if you if you're looking for that this week, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the week. So we can wrap it up here. Instagram at Drinking the Blue Kool-Aid, Twitter at Drinking Lions. Follow us on there. Let us know your thoughts about the last game of the season. Do you think the Lions can get to the playoffs? The odds give it 16%, but we're all thinking 100%. We drink the Kool-Aid here on the
100% in my
Drinking the
brain.
Blue Kool-Aid, if you couldn't tell by the title.
My brain has only been wrong 8 times this year about the Lions.
I think we're all in that boat as well.
None of us are below 500 with our predictions this year. So
We're
that's
not.
pretty nice.
We're not.
True.
Yeah.
At or
We're getting
I'm sorry.
better too, you know.
Right.
Sidelionreport.com thank you to them for hosting the podcast. Go check out the articles there as we lead up to the final game of the season. But if you don't listen to the podcast on there, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get a podcast, please download, please subscribe, and please leave a review. Always greatly appreciate that. And then we also want to thank our producer, Kid J. Woo! All right.
A little bit.
Yeah.
UJ was waiting for the high note.
2023, slight improvement over 2022 in that regard. But man, it's a whole new year, and the Lions are undefeated this year in 2023. They have not lost yet, and we look forward to that trend continuing into the last game of the season and into the playoffs all the way to the Super Bowl. So let's wrap it up here. We want to thank everybody for listening. We greatly appreciate it. We'll be back later this week previewing the last game of the season to possibly go to the playoffs on Sunday Night Football. And thank everybody for listening. And last but not least, as always, go. Lions! Woo! Go Lions! Forward down the field, a charging team that will not yield. And when the blue and silver wave, stand and cheer the brave. Rock, rock, rock. Go hard, win the game. With honor you will keep your fame. Down the field and gain a Lions victory.